What is going on, guys? John here from John's Fishing Channel. Thanks for tuning in. Go give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, favorite this video, I'd appreciate that. Today I'm going to be catching some panfish on a fly rod and cooking them up and having a little dinner. All I need is probably 3 or 4 of these panfish. They're very nice size, but they're really fun fish to catch on a fly rod. So it should be a great episode. It'll probably not be that long, but I think we're going to catch a lot of awesome size sunfish today. Alright, so I'm using a Sage FlyRod XP, pretty decent rod, with a Gunnison reel. It's a Gunnison size 4 reel, but there's some outstanding panfish in this lake, sunfish, crappie. The rod I'm using and the line I'm using is a little heavy for panfish. It's kind of a bass rod setup to number 8, but the panfish in this lake are big, so it shouldn't matter too much. Well, hopefully they're biting. Thor, I'm gonna have to ask you to simmer down now. I'm using a white spider, floating spider fly. It's about the size of I don't know, smaller than a dime, but then the legs, it's got rubber legs on it. And a lot of times, you know, you'll see a sunfish kind of eat a bug somewhere, over here, over there. You want to cast to those places. You know, because they school up, they travel together, and they're usually hanging out feeding in the same spots. Fly fishing is an acquired skill, something I have been doing since I was about 10 years old. I think I got my first fly rod with yarn on it. Done a lot of trout fishing, fly fishing in Montana, so I kind of grew up fishing big open rivers, lots of current, lots of wind, and that kind of develops you into a pretty decent fly fisherman or woman. See ahead of me right there, ahead of my fly about 5 feet, a sunfish just came up. So if I can get my fly over in that area, hopefully there'll be another one. So I'm in the perfect spot. Kind of on the non-wind blown side of the lake, so it's nice and calm. I can see my fly. Right there's a sunfish. Saw him come and take it. That was pretty cool. It's neat when you can watch him take the fly. I mean, you can actually literally see the fish traveling towards up out of the water and then taking the fly. There's one out there. There we go. So just like that. And you don't reel in a fish on a fly rod. You strip it in like so. And the reel is only to reel up the excess line that you have out, kind of line management. But here's our first sunfish. Just a little guy. Fun to catch though. They put up a real good fight. Pound for pound, they're very strong fish. They don't really, I mean, if you catch a bluegill that weighs a pound, you've caught something that is a very rare, extreme old fish. But you know, a half-pound bluegill put up a really good fight. Thor, there's Kenobi. Kenobi, you want to go on the boat? You want to go for a ride? Typical. I'm surprised you're not a woman, Kenobi, because I'm always waiting for you. All right, now we got all the kids in the boat. Gave them their beef stick. Had to bribe Kenobi with a beef stick to get him in here. And fly fishing is pretty slow. It's like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and you really want to get your whole arm straight up and down, wrist straight. I mean, the rod is an extension of my arm, so to say, when I'm fly fishing, even more than it is when I'm spin fishing or using a bait caster. That was a nice big catch. So here I reel in all my extra line, and now I'm stripping it in to land the fish. And that's a nice sunfish. Holy smokes. Oh. Look at the size of that bad boy. Holy crap. You only need about 3 of these to eat. I mean, they're just huge and they're delicious. So, fresh fish for dinner, boys. Let's go ahead and throw him off the boat over here. There we go now. Beautiful fish. Always tie your stringer off nice and tight. You never want to lose it. And I always put it through something just to make sure that, you know, if it did come off, at least I have a chance of saving it. Alright, Thor. Be quiet now. I'm working. I don't bother you when you're working. Whatever job you might have, Mr. Doodle. Bam! Not very aggressive today. I think the cold weather's got him. Thor, if you fall in, I'm not picking you up. Actually, I will. Even, I don't think a big walleye could do much to Thor. Probably wouldn't go after him, but a muskie or a northern of 20 pounds or more would be more than happy to try to take a bite out of Thor. I seen it. He almost got eaten by a fish once. I felt terrible. But if you watch my fishing videos, I think you probably know the story. If not, I'll tell you. Thor has an annoying habit. What he's doing right now is I think he just wants to chase the lure, and he can't. It drives him nuts that he can't run across the water and get the lure wherever it lands. So he's just like, he goes in circles, he whines, he makes noises. He's really, really, really annoying. And so he does this on the dock, and he'll run back and forth from the left side of the dock to the right side of the dock, right at the edge of it. And I kicked him into the water once, into some lily pads, and I made him swim the distance of the dock back to shore, which really wasn't that far. Maybe 15, 20 feet. And, you know, he made it to shore, and he came back out on the dock. He wasn't very happy. He stopped running left and right, left and right, left and right. But, there we go. Oh, I cast a rubber frog about 20 feet from the dock off to the right, you know, just parallel to where the dock was, and a gigantic muskie came out and took my frog bait. It was probably about 20 or 25 pounds, and I felt awful that that fish was more than likely coming to eat Thor or investigate whatever was panicking and swimming through the weeds. So you got to be careful. You know, those big fish, they will eat. They eat ducks, you know, they eat turtles. It's crazy. I mean, they're just gigantic, and they're vicious predators, and they really will eat whatever they can to survive. But that's the story about how Thor almost got eaten by a muskie. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. There we go. Strip it in. Fun to catch. That was a medium-sized one. See if we can get something a little bigger. And you want to let that line get all the way behind you. It has to straighten out in the air behind you as far as you want it to go in front of you. Another medium-sized sunfish. Tenacious little suckers, aren't they? Gotta be a bummer to just your free lunch yanked out of your mouth. And the key to these topwater flies for sunfish is to make them look like a realistic bug sitting on the water. You kind of just pull them along like they'd be kind of floating through the water. Here comes something. Oh man, he almost ate it and then he decided not to. There's something. Oh man, a smallmouth bass just went to eat this sunfish. I don't want to leave him down there so he gets eaten, but that was cool. Oh, he's still down there. He wants to eat this fish. I've never seen a smallmouth go after a sunfish before. I've seen largemouth do it once or twice. And it's quite the spectacle. Let me tell you what, when you see a fish come out and try to eat another fish on your line, it's always just amazing. especially with muskie, because muskie will chomp fish clean in half, and then a lot of times they'll come back and try to eat the other half that's still on the hook. So really, I'm just, you know, I'm fishing pretty shallow water here. I would imagine it's not deeper than 4 feet. I would probably do a lot better with an underwater fly, but I just wanted to see if I could get some top water action. But I will put on like a nymph, you know, a bumblebee or something that sinks. That'd be good for sunfish too. I'd like to catch a little bit bigger ones that I can eat. So far, well, I got one, but doesn't stay. There's one. Oh, that's a nice one. You want to keep tension on the line, so you're always stripping, and you're always reeling, and you're always stripping, and you're always reeling, and you're always stripping, and you're always reeling. That's a beauty. Oh, look at the size of that thing, dude. It's so big. So big. Whew. We're not actually going to keep this one because the law states that you can't keep fish that you foul hooked. And I hooked this one in the belly. But look at the size of that fish. Wow. Escape artists, those ones. Just as I talk about changing baits, I catch the biggest fish, the sunfish ever. Not ever, but that was a darn big one. Look at that. That too is a sunfish. That's not a smallmouth. That's a smallmouth strike, except it's a sunfish. Strip them in. This one's a keeper. Fun to catch. Real fun to catch. Woo! He almost made it free. Almost. Ah. Goes on the stringer for dinner. Thor! What are you doing? You schmuck. I hope I got that on camera. I mean, I know I have it on camera, but I hope I got you falling in the lake on camera. What an idiot. I just get so excited. I can't take it. You happy, dog? You feel tough? Oh, little doodle bear. I told him, I've been telling him, Thor, you're gonna fall off the edge of the boat if you keep walking like that. And what does he do? He falls off the edge of the boat because he keeps walking like that. What a schmuck. You know, I don't know if walleye eats sunnies, but it could have been a walleye chasing it, I guess. I'm assuming it was a smallmouth bass. I thought I saw a black stripe. So, vertical stripes anyways. I can't believe Thor just fell out of the boat. Oh god, that's funny. It's a good thing this isn't a river and that wasn't raging white water. We need bigger sunfish. And usually when you're casting, you hold the loose line in your left hand with a fly rod, then you bring it back straight up, and then you wing it out there. Just like that, and then you strip it back. Like so. That was a little fast. And a lot of times, I will coil the line up in my hand like this because there's a lot of stuff down here that it can get hung up on. And then when I go back, I just kind of let it go as I throw it forward. So I usually take 2 casts on the forward, like right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I was concerned about this fly being a little too large for your average panfish. But the panfish on this lake are so effing big that I figured that it would work. Feet of line there. Bam, that was a nice one. Hold! I really enjoy fly fishing. I just do a lot of other, spin fishing and cast fishing simply because you can cover way more water. You see a lot more fish, and when I just don't have a lot of time, I'm only up here for a month. You know, I want to come up here and catch as many fish as I can. I want to find the biggest, largest, hugest fish. So a lot of that, I just, you know, I use my spin casting rod because I can make 150 casts, you know, in half the time that I could do that with a fly rod. And you're kind of limited the distance with a fly rod, a spinning rod, and a bait caster. I mean, you can make 90, 100-foot casts if you need to, whereas you can with a fly rod. There's a thing called double hauling. You know, you can shoot out 50, 60 feet of line. I don't really do that. It's hard. It's a lot of arm strength and work and technique that, you know, I don't do it. Well, hopefully this is where my last sunfish will come from. Woo! Sometimes when you forget about the fish on the stringer over there, they make a noise, kind of funny. Bam! That was a nice hit for a little fish. A lot of times with a little fish like this, I won't even keep tension on the line, because if he can actually spit the hook out, that'd be fantastic. It's not that small. A little bigger though. Thor, you're living on the edge again. It's like one of those you don't do, once you do it, you don't do it again things, I hope. But with Thor, you never know. And I'm really trying to smack this fly down hard on the water. I'm doing a real strong, aggressive, fast cast, and that way it's, you know, it just slams down this fly, and the sunfish see it a little better because it's more visual of an impact than just kind of trying to sneak a fly in there on a trout. And fly fishing's a lot of work compared to your regular styles of fishing, except for musky. Musky fishing's intense because, you know, the rod's big, the lure's big, and you know, it's just a lot of weight to throw around. All right. Too small to keep. Not too small to keep, but, you know, just you could keep 4 of those little ones or 1 big one. Oh, that was a nice one. Sometimes the sunfish too, they'll take it from underwater, they'll grab a hold of its legs, they'll pull it down, and then you gotta wait for them to hook it, bite the hook again. A nice one. Not quite big enough for me to keep though. Slippery little suckers. There's a nice one. That's dinner, folks. Oh, just a beauty. Just a beauty. Ah, fish pee. So we'll go ahead and put that on the stringer. And we'll keep those. And I will be cutting these up and cleaning them and cooking them, and I'll make a little video about it too, because it's actually pretty easy to do, to clean your own fish and cook them up, and it's delicious. I mean, they don't get better. Nothing's better than fresh fish out of the water. So, well, what a fantastic day of fishing. Thanks for watching, guys. Catching panfish with my trusty fly rod. I'm gonna go ahead, go home, clean these up and cook them. I'll make a video about the whole process. But this is it from the water, so the next time you see me, we'll be filleting fish in the kitchen.